Said, recording has started. With that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to one of my least favorite people, who is our wordmaster grammarian, and that's me. The word for today is mitigate. It means to lessen the ill effects of. If you take an aspirin, it will mitigate the effects of a fever. If you use the Free Toast website for this club, it will mitigate the confusion that we are enjoying this morning. Mitigate. Beyond that, I will look for egregious filler words, and that is technically about all I believe I'll do. I will now turn the meeting over to our Toastmaster, Jerry Zimmerman.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see some smiling Toastmaster faces here. Thank you for that applause. And glad to have some people spread across the world here. Our Toastmaster meeting this morning is on the way. I would like to, let's see, there have been some changes here. We like to start with a word. Oh, you've already done that for us, haven't you, Mark? So we have a word. So I'm trying to mitigate my performance here and do a better job of getting things across. Let's see about timing before I get to the joke du jour. So would Jennifer please give me an idea of, or show us how she will be timing? And we'll also, right now I do know that Vadi's speech is 6 to 8 minutes, and I'm not sure about Lucy. So timer, Jennifer.
Okay, good day. Thank you, everyone. Good day. I am going to be your timer today, and for our speeches and also our table topics and our warm-up session, especially Deb's for our warm-up session, I'll be doing a green at 2 minutes before the time, a yellow at 1 minute, and a red when you've met your time. You may have to mitigate some time around our table topics to get us back on time and end accordingly today. And Jerry?
Thank you very much, Jennifer. We appreciate that. Let's have a little humor. We can lighten up ourselves here this morning. So would our
Jerry?
That was Jan. Question?
Jerry, for the educational speech, in order to make up some time, I was scheduled for 15 minutes. I will go with 10. There's a part of it I can cut out without losing too much. So let's have it 8, 9, and 10 on me.
Okay, looks like Jennifer's writing that down, and she just gave the thumbs up. So Jan Goditis, let's lighten up this meeting a little bit. You're on.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Toastmasters. I'm going to tell a few quick jokes from Stephen Wright. He's an American comic, and so I'm going to start right now. A lot of people are afraid of heights. Not me. I'm afraid of widths. If you can't hear me, it's because I'm speaking in parentheses. I was thinking women should put pictures of missing husbands on beer cans. When I woke up this morning, my girlfriend asked me, "Did you sleep good?" And I said, "No, I made a few mistakes." I went to a restaurant that serves breakfast at any time, so I ordered French toast during the Renaissance. Thank you, and that's my joke for the day.
Thank you, Jen. Those are good. Those are memorable, worth working with. we have, now I have down Mark Walton as a general evaluator, but then I think I see something about Francine being general evaluator. So what's
Francine.
Francine? Okay. Francine, then you are general evaluator.
Yes.
And you'll be taking care then of the meeting overall and making sure that we do our best to mitigate some of our faux pas right now and have a better meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And once again, to remind everyone, our evaluators, Jan will be evaluating Vadi, and Francine will be evaluating Lucy. And for table topics, Mark will be doing the odd numbered table topic presentations, and I will be doing the even numbered table topics presentations. I believe we are ready to move on to our educational presentation for the day. This is a man well known to me. His name is Tom Doherty. And
Gary?
yes, what am I forgetting?
I'm showing Deb's warm-ups coming.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm discombobulated this morning, so I apologize. Trying to catch up. Debs, please, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy, Mr. Toastmaster, and fellow Toastmasters and many welcome guests all around the world. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, and greetings from Basingstoke in the UK.
You muted, Debs. Can't hear you.
Oh, not muted.
Not technically muted, but your voice is too muffled and faint to be heard.
Yeah, it's great.
Is that any better? Is that any better? Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, barely.
Still pretty fuzzy.
Just a moment. Is it any better? No? I don't know what's going on here. Does this work?
Muted.
I'm saying I think I might have to call it on the warm-up if you can't hear me.
Try just speaking louder. Let's see if that works.
May I suggest we move on to the educational session while Debs works out the issues?
Yeah, okay.
That sounds good to me. And I see that Jack just arrived, so thank you, Jack, for being here. We are about to move into our educational presentation by Tom Doherty. I've known Tom for many years. Tom is a construction engineer and a professional land surveyor, but there's so much more to him. I know he's very dedicated to family history. He's a great storyteller. He is a man that loves Toastmasters. He's been a member of Toastmasters for 36 years. And in this time, and I always amazed, he has gone through all of the qualifications to achieve the Distinguished Toastmaster Award at least 5 times. So quite a man, a good friend of mine. And this morning, he's going to speak to us with a title of How Our Bodies Speak to Our Audience. And this is a Presentation Mastery Pathways Presentation Mastery project speech. It's from level 5. And I know all of you are up to date on your pathways. That means he's about finished with this path. So Presentation Mastery, Level 5, How Our Bodies Speak to Our Audience. Tom Doherty, take it away, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, about a year ago, before the COVID started and kept us all indoors on Zoom meetings, I went to a Toastmaster meeting in which the young lady was talking about the death of her grandmother, whom she dearly loved. It was a somber occasion, a somber speech. But throughout that whole speech, she smiled and laughed and completely conveyed the opposite mood of what her speech was about. She forgot that her facial gestures and her body language should be compatible with and tie in together with the subject that she was discussing. Nobody was for sure. Was she sad? Was she happy? Was she glad her grandmother was gone? Or was she very unhappy that her grandmother was gone? That's what I want to talk about this morning. We're going to discuss 6 things that are tied together with your speech-making abilities. One is stance, movement. The third is gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, and finally, your screen appearance. Let's start with the first, stance. I'm going to make very short shrift of this. It has nothing to do with Zoom meetings, but in your in-person speeches, when you're standing out in front of an audience, you must stand straight. Look professional. Don't slouch and act like you're tired. Movement. We like to move around back and forth. If you have a large stage, really large stage, move back and forth across the stage. Attracts attention. But please avoid pacing. I've seen people make a circle back and forth, just like a caged cat. You ever seen a caged cat? They'll walk around and be nervous. So those two have to do with on-stage presence. Let's move into your real meat of this talk today, and that is how we use our gestures. And I'm talking about my head, my shoulders, my arms, and hands. How do I use those? Well, if I say he went that way, is that different than he went that way? Of course it is. It tells you more about what I'm talking about. Make your gestures suit what you're saying. If I want to convey, for example, a sense of urgency, for example, you better catch on to what I'm talking about here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, or else I'm going to be very unhappy. That is the sense of urgency or gestures. Make them large. Make your gestures large. If you're talking about a wide door, make it a wide door, not said with a door just about like this and I couldn't get you. No, it was a wide door. If you want to talk about how high something is, like my big ego, I have a huge ego. Make those gestures fit, ladies and gentlemen, with what you're trying to say. Now, there are several gestures, and this is one place I want to ask for a little interaction here. I use this gesture all the time to convey, yeah, I agree with you. Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is there some culture present here today that's not an appropriate gesture? I'm really curious about this one. Does this offend any culture in the world? Does anybody not that? What about this one? Yeah, that's okay. By that I mean, cool, I agree with you. Can I use that everywhere in the world?
No.
No.
Speak up if you think that it's offensive in any language in the world.
I've
Offensive.
heard that it's offensive in parts of South America, but I'm not sure.
Anybody else agree with that? Mark, you seem to have heard that before. Okay, then. I'm not going to do this anymore. Jan?
I saw on one thing where the cadets, when they were graduating from school, did this. One of
Yes.
and they said that it was a white supremacist symbol when they did something with their hands, something similar to that or like that. So yeah, it's really, things happen I don't know about, but yeah, so they were doing that, and they were just, doing that, but maybe they didn't know, or they were,
Okay.
anyway, so I don't know.
Probably best to just take this out of my vocabulary, and I will. Let's talk to facial expressions. When you're up close like this, whoop, back a little, you got to see my face. Does this mean anything? That's a fake smile. You know, this morning when you all checked in, Lucy had a huge smile on her face, and she was really glad to be here. That is a wonderful facial gesture. I could tell she was really enjoying herself. Let's talk about eyes, eye contact. When you're on Zoom, I have labored mightily here to make sure that my notes are right up here. You can't see my notes, but I can see them with an upward glance. I don't have them down here where I keep my face off the camera, and I don't look this way while I'm talking to you. Eye contact directly into the camera, ladies and gentlemen, is what's important. Because when you look directly at somebody, you're connecting. You are definitely connecting with them, and they feel it, and they take your message seriously. When you connect with somebody with your eye movement, talk about your eyes. Let's talk, for example, here we have this little problem right now. Everybody has to wear this darn thing. What do my eyes tell you when I do this? I'm surprised. What my eyes tell you when I do this? I'm suspicious. You might practice, put it on your mask, and see what your gestures, you don't tear your glasses off while you do it, though. You might practice putting it on your mask and see what your eyes look like when you look into a mirror and practice various expressions. There's a gal I go to, young lady at McDonald's every morning. My wife and I are big McDonald's fans. And she is the cashier, and she's wearing her mask, and she has such expressive eyes. I know when she's happy. I know when she's having a bad day. She is so expressive and just outgoing with her eyes. And you must remember, as speakers, ladies and gentlemen, on this venue that we have here, that people are watching your eyes because they can't watch your mouth right now. They can't watch the rest of your face. Let's talk about that. Eye contact. One more thing I want a little interaction here with. In our Western culture, when I talk to Mark, I want to look directly into his eyes. Otherwise, he's suspicious. If I go like this, he thinks I'm not paying attention. If I look over him, he thinks I'm not interested. What about in other cultures? Is direct eye contact a no-no in some cultures of the world?
I don't think so.
Anybody have a thought
Yep.
on that? Heidi?
It depends. It depends. If you're talking to someone super elderly to you, you don't want to stare at their eyes all the time. It's sort of rude.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do to keep in contact with them?
You talk to them, but you look a little down, not directly at their eyes, a little down. Directly at their eyes is like rude. It's like you're saying I'm equal to you, kind of.
So if I look down while I'm talking to you, it's not rude.
Oh no, that's showing respect.
What about if I look to the side while I'm talking to you?
I've never really thought about it. I think it's fine. Eye contact is really not a thing. Till I came to USA, I really didn't think of it as a big deal. That was one of the things I learned in Toastmasters.
That's interesting. Jerry, we have to move on because I see my yellow light. I'm sorry. Screen appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, lighting is very, very, very important. Last night, I struggled for 45 minutes setting the lights up for today, and I finally found out that the most effective way for all of us, I have a light up here that you can't see. It's shining directly on my bald head, but I don't want it so bright that it just glistens, which my bald head will glisten. and I have a light on both sides of me. Over here I have one light, over here I have one light, over here I have another light, but I have them at various dim, have to dim them down because, ladies and gentlemen, I have a white face. It's not suntan, anything, and it glistens. It's distracting. So be careful with the type of lighting that you have. Position your camera, please, to always look directly at your audience. We have a Zoom meeting with another group that I belong to, and this lady has her camera sitting on her lap, and all we see is her chin and her nostril hairs. Please take a good look at what you're doing and take a look at yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, that's in a short version of body language, eye contact, and so forth. I would like to see you all practice this before you get online and embarrass yourself with hair nostrils. Back to you, Jerry Zimmerman.
Thank you, Tom. That was very informing, and I think you demonstrated some interesting principles there. I would personally like to see you revisit that with us and maybe include a bit more discussion because we do have people from different cultures. And I know that when I worked with my international students, those are things I had to learn. And I think it'd be this is an international club. I think we should perhaps explore that further. But thank you. That was very interesting. And we appreciate you bringing the time down to try to save things for us. With that, Debs, do you have an idea of how you're doing with the microphone?
Yes, I do think I've mitigated the effect on everyone.
Very good.
That's now. And
very good.
Shall I now commence the warm-up? Well, greetings, everyone from Basingstoke and the United Kingdom. The warm-up, what the warm-up's about is it gives everybody a chance to speak if they would like to. It's not compulsory. You can say pass if you want to, but the idea is that we speak for about 20 to 30 seconds, no more, around the meeting, and I will call upon people to do so based on where I can see people on my camera. We normally give a topic to speak on. What I'd like you to do today is to introduce yourself and tell us which club you're from, and also to answer the question, what inspired you most about your Toastmaster club or your speaking journey thus far? So what inspired you most about your Toastmaster club or your speaking journey thus far? I will start myself. What inspires me most about Basingstoke Speakers Club is its perfect welcome that it gives to guests and visitors, and the fact that we're renowned locally for that welcome above and beyond the call of duty. I think that's fabulous. Thank you. And I will now choose Mark, please.
Thank you, Debs. Fellow Toastmasters, I'm a member of Pioneer 17. We're extraordinarily proud of that number 17. We were the 17th Toastmaster Club chartered. Most of the earlier clubs are gone, but we're still here, and we'll tell you about it every chance we get. Over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Now moving to Jan, please.
Hello, thank you. I'm Jan Goditis from Bloomington, Indiana. My club is Good Evening Toastmasters, and a third of our club includes international students from IU, Indiana University. And making friendships with students and mentoring them over the years has been a great experience for me because we get to know each other, not only in Toastmasters, but outside of Toastmasters as well as friends.
Lovely, Jan. Thank you. Moving on to Jennifer.
Hi, my home Toastmaster club is White Hogan in Plymouth, Indiana. And their most inspiring thing is we meet every Friday morning at 6:45 in the morning. And I think just having the opportunity to get up and spend some time and get motivated for the day with a great group of people. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. Next up, Tom, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been a member of at least 10 Toastmaster clubs over the years.
Okay.
I'm in 2 at the moment. One is the Pioneer 17, same as Mark, so I won't talk about that one. But the other one is called, here in Indiana, in the United States, is called the Leadership Outreach Toastmasters. And we focus on one thing, and that is developing leaders and helping our district leadership sharpen their skills so that they can be better leaders. We invite them to come to our meetings to discuss their problems in a session we call the Leaders Forum. And that's the one that we enjoy the most, helping our leadership become much better at leading. Back to you.
Fabulous, Tom. Thank you. Francine, please.
Hi, I'm Francine Bob. I've been a member of Toastmasters International in general for almost 2 years. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I've been saying I'm Francine Bob. I'm part of Toastmasters International for 2 years now, and also part of the EFDB Platinum Toastmaster Club. It's a corporate club, Toastmaster Club of our institution. And we are working on convincing our colleagues that they can become better speakers, better people, better professionals by working on their speaking and leadership skills with Toastmasters, which is very challenging and not easy at all. But at least I'm learning, and it's very passionate. I'm very passionate about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. Vedi, I apologise if I've mispronounced your name. Please correct me.
Thank you, Debs. Surprisingly, there has not been one mispronounce of my name in this meeting so far. It's never happened before. Really good work.
Go us.
I am part of Seymour Toastmasters Club, which is based in Indiana, USA. And what was the second? What inspires me? What inspires me is our club has a lot of fun, especially with the table topic session. Every time we try to come up with new ways of doing table topics, and it's always exciting to see what this brings up. Our club is mixed of many working professionals, working professionals from many backgrounds, like Cummins and other companies nearby. It's an assorted group, and it's super fun. Thanks.
Thank you. That's great, Vedi. On to Jerry, please.
Okay. I too have been a member of Toastmasters for a number of years. I have Tom beat, I think, by 4 years. I've been a member for about 40 years. My first club was one called Woodman 681. It's still going along quite well. But I've moved on. I now belong to Pioneer 17, to this club, of course. I'm educational vice president for Classic Communicators, which is a very strong club on the very north side here of Indianapolis. And another one called Business Women Connect. That's the official name. It is mostly professional women, but there are now 3 male members out of about 35 members. So we've slightly modified the name to be Business Women Connect and a Few Good Men. So I gained a lot from Toastmasters. I joined mostly out of curiosity and for fun, but quickly discovered that it had a lot to offer. And as I said, I've known Tom for some time. Some of my most endearing friendships and have evolved out of my Toastmasters experience. So I'm looking forward to that to continue for many, 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 many more years. So
thank you very much, Jerry. Very inspiring. Moving over to Lucy, please.
Hello, I'm Lucy. My first Toastmaster club is the Debate Toastmaster Club based in Beijing, China. So what inspires me most is that every week we got a new topic to debate. For example, this week the debate topic is should classic TV series and movies be remade? And I think that when we talk about things from two sides, the positive side and negative side, we're gonna have a more in-depth look on one question. So that is what attracted me the most. For if I got a chance, I hope that we can debate sometimes, maybe in this club. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Lucy. Now my screen's all moved around. Why do they do that? Lou, did you hear what the introduction was? I'm not sure when you joined the call.
I have not. I just joined a minute ago.
I thought you did. Welcome. It was to introduce yourself and your club and say what inspires you, either about your speaking club or your public speaking journey thus far.
Sure. Well, so this club will be my 5th club that I'll belong to. My home club is the Noida Toastmasters Club, which meets on the northwest side of the Indianapolis area. I belong to a corporate club at our technology center at Eli Lilly and Company. I belong to a club called the Dynamic Club, which meets downtown. And then I also belong to the Leadership Outreach Club. And then this club would be my 5th club. So what inspires me as a member is just how vital communication is in every aspect of our lives. And even when you think it's not needed, it usually is. So I tend to be an over communicator, an oversharer, but I think that I would rather do that than not have someone know what I'm feeling or know what my aspirations are. So I've found that to be an effective thing in my life, in my career, and I would probably regret not communicating that. I know sometimes that leads to regrets, and so for me, I think the biggest thing is just communicating what needs to be said, when it needs to be said, and to whom it needs to be said to.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing. Moving on to Jack, please.
Hello everyone, this is Jack. I'm also from Debate Club. You know, the most inspiring thing is like Lucy. We do debate and it practice my critical thinking, you know. In the past, when Lucy and me quarrel, I always lost. But now, after like a professional practice, I can quarrel with her during the stage. So I really enjoy it. And that's all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jack. Tim Eugene doesn't have a video on. Would you like to share with us? Apparently not. And I've got something that says Global Online Club. Is anybody there? Seemingly not.
Is that me?
Or maybe. Hello.
Hello, this is Anna. I lost my connection for a couple of times. I don't know how I end up connected by Global Online Club. But I'm here.
Brilliant. What we're doing, Anna, is just giving 20 seconds or so introduction of ourselves and our club and say what inspires us about Toastmasters or our public speaking journey so far.
Okay, great. Thank you, Debs. I am Anna. I have been drawn Toastmaster since 2013 back to Beijing in Rainbow Bridge Toastmaster clubs. You may met some of friends from there in our old club, previous club meetings as well. Starting from there, then I have all my 7 years Toastmaster journey from China. Then I come to US. I have transferred to several clubs due to my movement of myself. Now I'm a member of a couple of clubs, but unfortunately I'm not able to attending a lot of meetings. But our global online club is one of the one I'm always coming because it's Saturday morning. I want to see everybody online. So that's about me. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Great. Well done. And handing back to Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you very
I would
much.
like to say Temujin is in and he's from Mongolia. Temujin, can you say hello to us?
Yeah, you can if you, there you are.
Hello, everyone.
Brilliant. Hello.
Great.
Um,
Greetings, Temujin.
I
Yeah,
don't
nice
know what
to
you've
meet you.
heard, Temujin. We're just introducing ourselves and saying what inspires us about our public speaking journey or Toastmasters. Oh, I think you're muted again.
He's muted, and we can perhaps check back with him at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Jan, for pronouncing the name for us. I'll work on that last name at a later occasion. It's always, I really like to learn to practice my vocal muscles. Anyway, we're now to the point where we have a couple of very interesting speakers this morning. Our first speaker is Vadi. He was recommended to us by Mark Walton. He has a 6 to 8 minute speech in which he has titled Culture Shocks. And he's going to discuss a few of the things that he has experienced in his I guess, physical and personal journey from his home in southern India to the United States here in southern Indiana. So would you please welcome Vadi as our first speaker?
Hey everybody, thank you for having me here to speak at this club today. My name is Vaidi. I moved from India around 5 years ago for graduate school. I currently work for a company called Cummins in Indiana. Now, before, like Jerry hinted, and before you all go, oh, so you're an Indian from Indiana? I've heard that joke too many times. Just wanted to say, yes, I know. I've heard it too many times. But yes, I am an Indian from Indiana, but the two places cannot be further apart culturally. We were just coincidentally discussing that during Tom's speech earlier too, about how different cultures perceive things differently. With that in mind, whenever I go back to India, I always get a question, what's your biggest culture shock in moving to USA? And I've thought long and hard about it, and I cannot narrow it down to just one. So I'm just going to talk about a few that I have experienced. First and foremost is definitely the traffic. Now you'll think traffic is not exactly a culture shock, it's just a way of transport. But if you have been to India, you'll understand that I will categorize this under culture shock. I still remember very clearly the first time I landed in USA on July 30th, 2015 in New York City. I step outside and all I see are cars, one after the other, going on a lane, not going between lanes, not cutting across lanes, staying in one lane and one behind the other with patience. And Americans here think, oh, we have road rage. No, you don't have road rage. They are isolated incidents of some people getting angry. But overall, people here just follow lanes, they follow rules, and that is super shocking. The other part of traffic that's shocking is the lack of motorcycles and the lack of horns. Like in India, horns are sort of used to, signal direction or intent. It's not meant to offend anyone. It's like, bam, I'm taking right. Bam, bam, I'm taking left. So it's more to signal where your intent and no one minds. And here, when I first learned how to drive a car, I press a horn and I got a stare. Apparently, here it means I'm angry at something. And it took a while to adjust. So that's why I classified this under the culture shock. I saw Francine nodding to my topic about the traffic. I assume she agrees with me. Even in her country, it's a big difference. Good to know. The second major shock is the obsession in a good way with appointments in this country. Like if I want to like meet my friends, American friends for let's say dinner, I need to ask them 2 days in advance. and they pull out like a calendar in their phone and say, I'm busy, I'm available. And that is so foreign to me because in India, we don't make plans at all, especially with friends, but even in general. We just swing by whatever. We just ask, hey, can I meet you today? Like, all right, let's do. If I'm doing something, join me. That's how it works. But here, everything has like appointments and everything is fixed. Today I'm meeting this person, tomorrow I'm meeting this person, and so on. I see positives and negatives in it, but frankly, I'm just trying to get myself suited to this culture too, so I don't offend anyone here by, you know, going to some other when they're meeting someone else. I don't barge into their meeting or something. The third one, the third culture shock, is my most favorite one because no one seems to talk about it, and it's really important. It's the ability of Americans to market stuff. I travel a lot. I travel a lot throughout USA. I've been to more than 40 states since I came here. And I went to a state called Utah, and there was one point which was highly recommended by in the hotel I was saying. The person recommended me to go to this spot. It's called the Four States Monument. So basically, Utah and three other states intersect at one spot, and they've installed a pillar there. That's it. It's a landmark created by human beings because they have drawn state lines so that it intersects there. And it has no significance. It's not like the equator cuts through there. It's not Tropic of Cancer. It's just four states which were drawn by human beings intersect there, and they put up a small pillar there. And so many people are there taking photos and selfies, and I was amazed. And I mean this in a completely positive way. Like America has amazing natural resources, like natural beauty or national parks like Grand Canyon and everything. I've been there. They're really good and they're marketed well. America also has places like this Four States Monument where there's just a pillar in the middle of nowhere and people have made a business out of it. Soon, I'm pretty sure they're going to charge entry for people to go to that place and, take selfies and whatnot. Now, I believe this is something that we all non-Americans should learn. Our country, I'll take my country as example, India. In India, we have a lot of natural beauty, amazing forests, beaches, and everything. But not all of them are publicized. A lot of times I've gone to a really nice viewpoint just because I stumbled on it, not because I knew it was there. And this is something that we as Indians can definitely take a leaf out of the book and try to improve. And I also look at it as this is something that we can improve on a personal level. Take a person from India, take a person from America, a random person, like, general person. You will see that the American person would be able to market himself or herself better than the Indian person. Because ever since I got to know this later, ever since childhood, even in school days, American schools, they expect you to come to the front of the class and present about a topic or talk about something. In India, especially where I grew up in the southern part of India, we don't get a chance to present about anything till the last year of undergrad. My first speech in front of a group of more than 10 people was in my last year of undergrad. So by default, American people are better at marketing. How can we non-Americans improve that skill? Is by joining clubs like Toastmasters. My club and many other clubs that I've attended, they all are filled with members who want to help you and who are super friendly and they are not negative at all. So you can practice your speeches in clubs like these and they give you positive feedback. You put the feedback and practice again, deliver a speech again, and you're surrounded by friends here in these clubs and make use of all the resources online that if you become a member, you get a multiple resources available in Toastmasters website. Use all those resources and you'll be able to improve yourself as a speaker. Thank you.
That was great, Vadi. That's one of the things I've really enjoyed about this morning's meetings. I'm getting a tremendous insight And for those of you that Buddy and I have been exchanging a couple of comments on a similar theme here. So thank you very much. Really appreciated all that you had to share. Our second speaker has been with us before. I believe we learned that she's not the primary cook in her relationship, and she's very talented. And that is Lucy Zheng. And she will be speaking about a first time experience. And it is from a Pathways project. Thank you for working with Pathways on vocal variety. And I look forward to hearing from Lucy. So please welcome her to our virtual lectern. Lucy, take it away.
Dear friends, when was the last time you did something for the first time? The first time experience could be frightening, stressful, but it could also be mind-blowing and unforgettable. I still remember the first time when I learned how to dive in Phuket Island in Thailand. It was a beautiful tropic island with sandy beaches, salty, fresh air, and freezing soft waves. But when it comes to diving, I was scared to death. Imagine that I was deep underwater with a stranger whom I never met before. What if I was choked by water? What if my oxygen tank was broken? What if a big shark swam toward me? What if a thunderstorm struck overhead? There were too many uncertainties down there. I was almost ready to say no, but right at that moment, I recalled a sentence I have ever read. Any limitation starts from within. It occurred to me that I was locked in the invisible prison built by my own self with all those worries and anxieties. It was very safe in there, but whenever I want to explore a little bit of outside world, the little fire of curiosity was put out immediately. No, I have to run out of this invisible prison. I need to take control of my own life. Let's do it, Michael, I said to my diving coach. But if something happens, please save me. I'm still young. Lucy, Michael said, don't worry. Whenever you feel uncomfortable, just show me this and I will take you right back to the surface. Then we began to dive very slowly at the beginning. I can feel nothing but the water. Gradually, I felt like my body was soft deep underwater, and I saw a swarm of colorful fishes swimming around me and the coral reefs sparkling and glistening underwater. It felt like a dream. Michael put a small patch of fish food on my hand. Suddenly, all the fishes swam toward on my hand and began to eat the food. It tickled me so much that I couldn't help but letting go of the fish. All the fishes swam away. That was my first diving experience. Looking back, it feels so great to run out of the prison. My second unforgettable first time experience is hitchhiking. Dear friends, have you ever tried hitchhiking? It means you stand by the roadside and you give a thumb up. If you are lucky enough, or if you are good looking enough, a car will stop by you and give you a ride. Back in 2014, I decided to go to Tibet Autonomous Region in China from Chengdu City. It was a 2,140 kilometers journey. I set aside 15 days for this trip. Day 1, 8 a.m. in the morning, I stood at the entrance of the expressway at Ya'an City with my friend Neil. We waited at the entrance for 5 minutes. and we were too shy to give our thumb up. Neil, I said to him, how about we walk a little bit inside? Perhaps it would be easier to hitchhike in the middle. So we walked for an hour. It was 9 a.m. in the morning, and it was time. But we hesitated again, and we looked at each other for another 5 minutes. Neil, I said, how about we walked an hour back to the entrance and take a bus instead? Neil looked at me and thought for a while. Lucy, he said, do you know what is a coward? Coward is the kind of person who goes through 18 levels of hell every time when he departs, and then he decides to give up. If we failed, we might be disappointed, but if we don't even try, we are doomed to fail. It dawned on me that once again, I was in that invisible prison by those worries and anxieties. Let's give it a shot, I said to Neil. Finally, we went through the 18 levels of hell and managed to give a thumb up by the roadside. A car approached and left. Another car approached and left. Another 30 car approached and left. We looked at each other and set up our mind. If we cannot get on a car by 12 a.m., we're gonna walk an hour back to the entrance and take the bus instead. But luckily, just at 11:45, a car approached and it stopped. The car owner asked us where were we going and agreed to give us a ride. That was a really happy ride. Yes, the first time journey could be stressful and frightening, but it could also be unforgettable and mind-blowing. Dear friends, when was the last time did you do something for the first time? Do you still remember the fear, the stress, the excitement, and the joy out of your first time experience? Life is so short. Let's experience more stress, fear, joy, and excitement, and run out of the invisible prison. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster Jerry.
Thank you, Lucy. That was wonderful. And yes, even with my collection of years behind me, I can remember a few recent first-time experiences. So I'll, as a message to all of you, keep it up. It's always fun. So thank you so much. Could I have a timer's report, please, for our two speakers?
Yes. Our two speakers had time frames of 6 to 8 minutes. Our first speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 49 seconds, and our second speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Congratulations, both.
Thank you. Very good, both of you, right within time. Now, I'm looking at the agenda, and we are basically almost exactly 10 minutes behind schedule. And we began 10 minutes late. I would wonder how do people feel about extending the meeting closing time from 10:30 to 10:40 Central in United States time. Any objections? I see Jack says it's okay. I say, okay, well then, timer, would you please make note of that we'll adjust everything back by 10 minutes. And Jack Nguyen is our table topics master for this morning. So would you please welcome Jack to the screen, and Jack, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. And it's a great honor to be the table topic master again. And today I prepared you some questions about stop. But before we start, I want to share with you a debate topic we do tonight in our debate Toastmaster. So the first question is that, do you think we should remake the classic movies or series? Why? Do you think should we remake the classic movies or series? Why? Like Titanic, okay? The first person is Jan. Can you answer this question? Jan. Yes, unmute yourself. Oh, Jan, we cannot hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I was typing something to someone and I wasn't listening to your
Okay, so
question. I apologize.
I will repeat it. Okay, do you think we should remake the classic movies or series like Titanic? Okay, do you think we should remake the classic movies? Okay.
Okay, I love the classic movies, and I loved, I saw Titanic, the original one. I don't know if it was done in the 1940s or the 1950s, and then they did a remake of it, and it was quite different than the first one. Is similar, similar but different. And should we have remakes of movies? Yes, some of the times, yes, but maybe not all the times. Look at King Kong, the original King Kong, and then there was a second one, and they're both different. And it's more contemporary. It's really hard to say. Maybe the younger generations go, oh, we like the newer one better than the older one, but the older one is a much more nostalgic for us who remember seeing it initially. Another movie that you wouldn't want to remake would be like It's a Wonderful Life. I saw that remade as an opera and it was horrible. I didn't have any of the feel of the original movie, so you ruined it by remaking it as an opera. It took away the whole sense, the whole feel, the community in it, the love, the whole feeling in it. So generally, it's good to remake movies, but say you should do it cautiously, that you don't ruin the original one and make people hate that they saw the second remake. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jan. And the second question is, I will appoint a person. Okay, Mark, are you ready? Okay.
Always.
Okay, so my question is that, share a story that your cell phone service are stopped due to the insufficient balance. Share a story that your cell phone service are stopped due to the insufficient balance.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. I must tell you that this cell phone, which appears and disappears, is very much like its signal. It appears, and I can talk to anybody I want, including people who don't want to talk to me, which frankly is almost everybody. But also, sometimes the service disappears, just like my phone. And I wonder why that is. Now, those of you who are engineers or technicians may have some suspicions, some odd theories that this has to do with cell phone towers and bandwidth and signals and other things like that. That may be, but you can't prove it to me. I am convinced personally that black magic is at hand. I know black magic when I see it. And in case you don't, looky here. Now you know. Over to you, Topics Master.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I really like your story. And Lou, Lou. Okay, sorry, forgive my pronunciation. Okay, my next question is that, do you have the experience that the electricity in your home is blacked out? So tell us one of the most unforgettable one. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. One of the more memorable times where we had a power outage is kind of what we call it here when we are not able to use our electricity. It was shortly after we had just had a security system installed in our home, and it was connected to our phone line. So not only did we have a power outage, but whenever we have a power outage, our security system would beep intermittently, just a couple of times, but kind of loudly, about every 10 minutes, kind of like a smoke detector going off. And of course, the power outage happened after a thunderstorm in the middle of the night. We didn't get much sleep that night. We weren't sure how to actually turn it off. And if we did turn off our security system somehow, would that cause it to malfunction to where later we would have to get somebody out to take a look at it to restart it? So we dealt with the intermittent sleep that we had that night and called the provider the next day. Once we had the power back on, the problem seemed to resolve itself in terms of the intermittent beeping. But the question remained, how do we continue to not have that thing malfunction whenever we have a power outage, even though that may only be once every year or so? I don't know that we ever got an answer to that. We didn't have too many more power outages afterwards, which was fortunate. But I do think that some of those life's mysteries are maybe better left not understood. Back to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And because of time, I think last question, okay? So if you are playing a very interesting game or watching a very interesting movie, at that time, your mom or your dad call you, will you answer immediately or later? Why? Okay, this for why the. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Can you repeat that again real quick?
Yes. If you are playing a very attractive game and at that time your mom call you or your dad call you, will you answer them immediately, stop playing, or just wait, ignore them? Okay, tell me the answer. Why? And
Thank you, Topics Master Jack. This is a very interesting question where to answer this, I have to take you through stages of life. So I am not very old. I'm just 28 right now, but I've seen 3 stages of life. Stage 1, where I was aged 0 through maybe 12 or 13, where the games I played or the interesting games I played were physical, like computers weren't that big in India, at least in my town. During those games, when my mother called me, I didn't respond immediately. I didn't respond for a good 1 hour because I was involved in the game. It was fun. I had fun with my friends, and my mother didn't mind either. But soon enough, I stepped into the second stage of my life, the age of internet and the age of computer games. Now, there's a game called Dota, Defense of the Ancients.
I know.
I see Jack nodding his head. I was addicted to that game. And I played that game from age like 13 to like age 21 or something. And in those times when I'm playing, if my mother called me, I wouldn't know because I had my headset, I was playing the game. Unless she came physically and yanked me by the shoulder, I would not know. So in that age, if my mother called me, I wouldn't respond unless she came and pulled on my shirt. Stage 3 is when I came to the US. And now when my mother calls me, I'm so homesick that whatever meeting I have, I like stop it immediately. Like if she calls me right now, I'm gonna pause the meeting. I'm gonna take the call. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The next time when you disappear, we will know where are you going. You answer the phone, right? Okay, thank you. So Jennifer, do we have more time?
I'd say one more. No, Jennifer's the boss. She said
yes, no. Yes, okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Back to Toastmaster. Thank you.
Okay, well, Thank you, Jack, for some interesting questions, and Jennifer for keeping us on time. Would you please give us the times for our table topics presenters?
Yes, thank you, Jack, for being attentive to the time with me. Our timers, Jan was 1 minute and 30 seconds, Mark 1 minute and 8, Lou 1 minute and 51 seconds, and Heidi 1 minute and 46 seconds.
Thank you very much, very much. And I think now, if I'm double checking my agenda here because this is my first time as Toastmaster. We are ready for evaluations, and our first evaluator is Jan, who I believe is going to be evaluating Vadi. So Jan?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Vadi, I really enjoyed your speech so much, and I liked the topic. It was so relevant in terms of our group being an international group. I thought you chose a great topic to share with us. You had great organization, and your content was very interesting, and I liked the way you used humor about three times at least during your presentation. I thought that your stories that you shared with us were really great stories. They were visual. Like the ones about the car, when you talked about the traffic. I would suggest that maybe when you talked about the horn, that you might have honked the horn, with your hand, you suggested, and maybe made some sounds to give some more vocal variety in your speech. And you also you had an advanced organizer when you said you're going to talk about 5 things. I don't know if you put up your hand or not. I couldn't see it at that time. And then you talked about the 4-state monument, and you might have been able to enumerate what the 4 states were. I didn't hear that, and then you might have been able to show that. The one thing I thought you might want to work on is the ending. You kind of just ended it without summarizing, what it's like to come to a new country, that when you went to maybe another country, you just a little better summary to the end there, pulling it together. And to challenge yourself, I thought you could be a little more vocal variety, a little more expressive in your delivery. You were more expressive in your delivery of your table topics than you were in your speech. You had more expressions in your face, and I thought that if you could just be more like that with your speech, it would have been good. I gave you a 5 for clarity. You spoke very clearly. I gave you a 4 vocal variety. Maybe you could just punch it up a little bit, be more expressive. And audience awareness, we loved the topic. We loved your speech. Gave you a 5 for comfort level, and 5 for interesting, that you engaged the audience with the well-constructed content. I thought it was really well organized. And the only thing I would say is just maybe you were using gestures, I saw your hand, but they were below the camera sometimes. Bring them up a little bit more and, do a little more gestures, but it was fun speech and I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks, Jan.
Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Appreciate it. Francine evaluated Lucy. So Francine, you are on.
Thank you, Mark. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Okay.
Just a little bit choppy, so.
Okay. Congratulations, Lucy, for a very well prepared, humorous, and enjoyable speech. I enjoyed your speech from the first minute to the last. Congratulations. At some point, I was even confused because of your great storytelling skills. I was wondering the objective of the speech. Is it storytelling? Is it vocal variety? You excel at storytelling. It was very easy to follow you throughout the speech. I also love your gestures and body language. As you were telling the stories, the movement of your hands and the way you were moving your body was matching exactly what you were saying, and that was a very good point for your speech. Another good point is the fact that your speech was very well structured. We had an introduction, a body, and a strong conclusion. To improve on your delivery, you may want to work on your voice. As I said, throughout the speech, you did very well at body language, and also you managed at some critical point of your story to modulate your voice in order to match. But there were critical point of your story when you were expressing big fears, where you could have used in a more powerful way your voice, for instance, by using your breath. We had a very interesting educational session last time with Cynthia, where she gave some examples on how to use your breath in order to modulate your voice. So you could have used that in order to give more power to some critical point of your story. Other than that, your voice was clear. Your spoken language was very articulate. Throughout the speech, it was high pitched, easy to hear, and modulated, as I said. Overall, you did great, and I love your conclusion. My takeaway from your speech is that we must have more first time because of the stress, joy, fear, and excitement we get out of it. Well done. Congratulations, Lucy.
Thank you, Francine. Very good. Another good example of feedback and educational for Lucy and the rest of us. We have some brief table topics. Table topics evaluations by their nature are much briefer, hitting just a couple of points. And Mark has the odd numbered table topics, which I believe are Jan and Lou, and I have Mark and Vadi. Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Jan, you were very knowledgeable in discussing the movies that should and shouldn't be remade, although you missed True Grit. I will forgive you in a few years, but only after that point in time. A couple of little things you might want to think about. I like a greeting for every speech, impromptu or otherwise. That's one you forgot this morning. And as we discussed, you were looking at your screen, not at your camera. So you were a little oblique at all times. But I liked what you knew and how you expressed it. Thank you. Lou, for those of us here who don't know, last year, Lou was our district director. I'm going to tell you a 5-second story. The first time he laid eyes on me, practically the first thing he said was something that I will never forget. And I realized from now on, I'm going to listen to every word this guy has to say. What you saw today is a perfect example of that. He is a direct, clear communicator. When he's got something to say, listen, because he will tell you quickly with a clear voice, and he'll come to a nice conclusion when it's over. That's what he did during the impromptu. As far as stuff to grow on, Lou, this is a red state. You should have on a red shirt. That makes no sense whatsoever. Over to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Mark. Well, moving on to the even numbered, you are the first even numbered speaker. One of Mark's good characteristics is he's a good storyteller, and he very much believes that every table topic should be a miniature speech with an opening, a body, and a close. Now, I won't say that I agree with that in every instance, but I think you did model that today. I felt as if, to me, it was not quite as well tied together as you normally do, but you did convey a sense of enthusiasm, and you had a good story, which always carries an answer, and I compliment you for that. Buddy, I would agree with just essentially everything that Jan had to say in your speech. I think you carried that over in your table topics. You do have a facility for structure, for pulling things together. I do like your vocal variety. He shared something with me earlier about the fact that oftentimes people from India will speak rapidly, and you seem to have mastered that very well for your culture here. Your voice is paced, easy to understand, and you, by slowing down, you are able to take advantage of vocal variety. So I think those are good examples for all of us, and I thank everyone for their participation. Moving on to our timer then, how verbose were we as evaluators?
For the evaluation section, Jan, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Francine, 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And our table topic evaluators, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Thank you for being timely.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I've noticed that one thing we have not done this morning is we have not had votes. And I think in part that might be because our host is not the traditional host. I'm just going to say, as we often hear at the end of a speech contest, everybody was a winner. So, and I think that's true this morning. Everyone has performed as, not performed, we have been ourselves and been good examples of Toastmaster skills and reminded ourselves of what we can work to improve. With that, I would like to call upon our word master grammarian, Mark. Did we mitigate our problems?
You get one more for that, Jerry. Essentially, no, we did not use the word mitigate well enough to resolve our problems. Hopefully they are resolved or mitigated. I just tied you there.
Okay.
In one fashion other than that we have not discussed today. In other words, let's be using the Free Toast website to mitigate our problems, which puts me one up on you. Most of us did not use mitigate. Where was I? There were very few filler words today. I was surprised. Quite a few of them came from this country. And since we're all friends here, I'm not going to embarrass the person that used 7. But 7 is the world record for this club this morning. Other than that, I heard only single filler words from 2 people. Very well done. We're very good. I did notice one minor grammatical misstep, which I will mention to Jack. We're talking about remaking movies. One remakes a movie, and once one is done, it has been remade. You were talking about remating movies. We're using remade in the wrong verb tense. Not a big deal. Everybody understood exactly what you meant. So that is my grammatical report and filler word and all that. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. Very quick and concise. I want to underscore what you said about using the Free Toast website. If I have your full name and your email address in the system, you have been sent a request to opt in. You do have to reply to that. So look in I'll send that out again. And if there's any chance I do not have your name and email address, please be sure that gets to me by way of this chat this morning, or send it to someone that you know in the club that can then forward it to me. Very much appreciate that. We like you to be here and want you to be a part of what's going on, or at least aware of what's going on. Time for a general evaluator's report. Up to you,
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. I'll now give my general evaluation of the meeting. Before the meeting, as the Toastmaster announced at the beginning, we've been able to set the free Toast website, and all the roles of the for the session was supposed to be filled on the website. Not all the roles were filled before the meeting. Even by the time we were joining, not all of them were taken. But by the time the meeting started, thanks to the dexterity of our Toastmaster of the day and Mark, Jennifer, all the team, all the roles were filled. All the roles were filled. Now the meeting started 10 minutes late. And because of that, the Toastmaster during the session asked permission for all the members to extend the end time of the session, and that was agreed. This was good. The warm-up session went a bit beyond time, but it was a great occasion for all the members to get into the mood for the meeting. The table topics was not appropriately introduced. It was not explained what was the purpose of the table topic session, but I guess this was because of we are all Toastmasters and we all know what table topic is. But that was not done. Overall, the meeting was very well conducted. There were no down moments, no awkward silence. It went on very well. I can see everyone has been able to put his camera on, so it was possible to build rapport and to all remain engaged throughout the meeting. Overall, well done. It was a great meeting, and I've really enjoyed spending these 2 hours with you. I would suggest that for the next time, as Mark and Jerry has already said, we sign up for role in advance in the Free Toast website so that we don't have to do it at the last minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francine. Very, very thorough and insightful feedback. Again, as I said, we're not presenting awards. We didn't vote, but hey, we're all winners, and I really sincerely mean that. Now it's time near the end of the meeting here that we like to call upon guests. And I'm going to call on both Temujin and Javid if you're willing to give us just a few words about your experience this morning. And I'll probably call on Vadi as well. So Javid, let's begin with you. Tell us about your experience this morning and how you found us and so forth.
Good morning, good evening, everyone. I don't know it's a morning over there or not in India. It's evening right now. Actually, I am from India. So good morning to you guys.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Actually, I got the meeting invite on Facebook page. Srivastav has shared this meeting invite over Facebook Global Meet page. So over that, I came to know this meeting today. And unfortunately, in the mid of the meeting, I got to know about this. So I missed the earlier part of the session. But when I joined, Lucy was giving her speech. So I really enjoyed the way you people are conducting this session and speeches which you people are giving, and the evaluation. In the way of evaluation, you people are very friendly with each other. Like you are teaching like any mistake. Like I have seen when Mark was evaluating, he was giving Gamerian remote. The way he explained the Toastmaster are doing the mistake. So in a very polite manner and in a very specific way, he's explaining. And the friendship in between you people are very lovable. So I really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this meeting. And in future, I would like to be a part of this online meeting as well. Since I am also a part of Toastmaster, I am from District 98. I'm Toastmaster in Gandhinagar Toastmaster Club. So in future, I would love to meet you people again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Excellent. Well,
Over to you.
I hope you give me the contact information or see that it arrives to someone, and we'll be glad to include you in the communications. Temujin, thank you for joining us, and thanks, Jan, again for inviting you, but I saw you briefly, so there you are.
Hello.
Take it away. What do you have to say about it this morning?
I'm quite excited, Yeah, I'm here because of Jan, In fact, like 2.5 years ago, I was in the States, especially Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah, I was there for a year, and I was there like teaching assistant, teaching Mongolian language to Indiana University students. And by that time, actually, I was a member of Toastmaster Club here in Mongolia. And then I got in touch with Jan, and she invited me to her club. And now I've been there like by the time I went back to my country, and still, even though I'm in Mongolia, we're still in touch with one another. And then last week, I got the message from Jan about this club, this Global International Toastmaster Club. So yeah, she asked me if I could join this club and represent Mongolia. And yeah, and then I'm here. Yeah, I'm really excited to see many people from different parts of the world. And yes, I appreciate it.
Very good. Well, thank you. And Vandu, you've had a lot to say, but this is your first time visiting us, I believe. Would you just have a word or two to say?
Yes, thank you, Jerry. I like this idea of a global online club. I mean, people always focus on the negatives of COVID. This is, I guess, us trying to make a positive out of it. We are having like an online meeting with everybody. I really like this idea. And my club, personally, Tom and Mark are well aware of it. They helped us start my club where I'm from. And this club, the way it functions is a little different. I took a couple of notes from that, like the session hosted by Debbie, her name is, I think, that was new. I made a note of that. And some of the way the evaluations are done, I made a few notes about that too. An additional point I'd like to put across, if it's okay with everybody, is if everyone can share their club's Facebook page or something, that way we can follow each other's clubs and I can post about the other clubs in my club. Our clubs are existing on its own, and this global club is a good way for us to attend other clubs meetings and have a better interaction, inter-club interaction. But yeah, overall, very nice meeting. I liked it a lot. Thank you.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And I see Lou posted an email address, and I will tell you that if you're new and when you receive emails from our Toastmasters website, it'll be a slightly different web address, and it will probably say global online TM or something, but do respond to that. You made a good point, Buddy, is that clubs all over the world, we do the same things. We have the same goals. We have the same principles, many of the same roles, but each club seems to give it a slightly different twist. And one of the things that we're putting on the website are descriptions of how we feel it might be good for this particular group, so that we can get more uniformity and consistency so that'll be on the website too. Look for that. And I've already received an email address from Javed, and anybody else that wants to share that, again, please be sure that it gets there. With that,
Javed this side.
Pardon? Yes, I did receive it, and I've already copied
Javed
it.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, Jerry, one point I just wanted to discuss with you guys. Since we are on online platform right now, so it's right now very easy to join to join others, the meeting which other clubs are conducting. And meanwhile, is it since I am also a part of Toastmaster and I am an vice president education of GPC Toastmaster Club. So it's what can I say? It's a request or suggestion, if possible, can meanwhile in month of December or January, can we have a joint meeting with our club?
We will certainly take that under discussion. And this club is in the process of formation. I don't know if you were here yet when that was commented on. We're very close. We will be forming as an advanced Toastmasters club for a variety of reasons. And so that means you will need to be a member of another Toastmasters club before you join the event, but you qualify for that, obviously. So I was about to return control to Mark, who is our head guru today. So Mark, I'm going to leave it up to you to close out the meeting and answer any questions. And once we conclude, I'm sure we can stay online for a couple minutes and chat, anybody that wants to.
Hey, Jerry, a couple of things real quickly. Javid, you mentioned a joint meeting, I believe, implying your club and this club. We would certainly be open to that. Thing I'd like you to know is that this club is nailed into this time slot because of our time commitments for members all over the world. We cannot go to visit you. You're going to have to come visit us. Second thing I would like to say to everybody is, remember, this session was recorded. We had 2 wonderful speeches today, and doubtless very soon Haritosh or Anna will make them available on YouTube. Good things. We have preached enough on the virtues of the free Toast site, but I just did it one more time, didn't I? Don't forget, please. With that, I hope to see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you very much, and I will leave this microphone open and this meeting open for anybody that wants to say something, and I see Jan waving her finger.
I just wanted to ask, is there a deadline for people to send in their applications? You said at the beginning of the meeting you needed 1 more member to charter the club, but will you send it? When will you send it? When is the deadline to apply?
There's no deadline. When you've got 19 members signed and with dues paid, you're looking for that 20th pretty hard, let me tell you. Whether or not we will submit when we have exactly 20, I cannot say. That has not been discussed by the organizing, whatever we call ourselves, the organizing committee, but I don't think we will delay very long. You get a really swell charter member certificate, unlike anything you've ever seen, unless you've seen one before. Tom.
How do you join?
They have, let's talk about that offline. It's not hard. You and I will do that easy.
Okay.
There will be a contact us link on the website, and you can certainly go through that. And all of us obviously have some connection to somebody here. Contact the person you know, and we'll see to it that you get whatever information you need.
I should have answered Tom's question. I apologize to everybody, particularly Tom. 2 things. Standard Toastmaster application, charter member application is a little different. Look up charter member application on your Toastmaster or on your search engine and you'll find it. Second thing is, and this is important, we expect to charter as an advanced club. Due to Toastmasters restrictions, this means that all of our members must already be members of clubs initially, other clubs. So we will be a second club for you, and you will be chartering as dual members. Tom, is that a better answer for you?
Tom disappeared.
He left.
Well, you can officially close the meeting whenever you're ready, and then we can
I'm
have
ready to go back to the mountains, but other people may have something to say.
Okay, well,
Going once,
I'll
going
say,
twice.
I say officially we're done, but we're all welcome to, like any Toastmasters meeting, hang around and chat if you have time.
Hey, Haritosh, I see you're here now.
Hi, Haritosh.
Hey, yeah, good to be back.
How are you doing?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Let me rename myself to Haritosh and no more global online.
If the formal meeting is over, we can probably stop recording so that if
good
people
point.
have for the chit chat, they.
Yep. Mark?
Thanks, Lou. Good point.